The finals. It's a game. In fact, this may be the gamiest of games, seeing how you literally embody gamers, duking it out in virtual reality. The finals presents me with a unique dilemma, one that I haven't really had to face with any other games like it before. That, of course, being the eternal question we all encounter with pretty much every other aspect of our day-to-day lives. Is the finals based or cringe? This is almost always a childishly easy question to answer. Counter-Strike? Based? Valorant? Undeniable dog shit cringe. But it's not as clear-cut for me when it comes to the finals. On the one hand, it's a free-to-play title with a lot of the baggage that those often entail. Those, of course, being microtransactions, battle passes, skins, and emotes of varying brain rot potential. Daily challenges, and many complaints about Chinese hackers. And yet, even with all of those odds stacked against it, not only does the finals outright beat any other free-to-play first-person shooter I've ever played, it is the most fun I've had with a shooter since BattleBit Remastered. Having just listed all those quote-unquote negatives, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Until the inevitable day comes where free-to-play games start shoving pop-up ads in our faces in between rounds like your average shovelware mobile game, microtransactions are going to stick around to keep those servers running. There are, of course, a lot of scummy ways in which these can be implemented, but I argue that the finals is one of the better examples of developers not taking the piss. There is no way to bypass the game's progression system by accidentally dropping your card details, including those cool 3 numbers at the back, because the currency that unlocks new weapons and gadgets can only be earned by playing the game. The microtransactions, including the battle pass, can only be used to buy cosmetics. I couldn't give a single fuck about them. I'd probably drop a few quid on a skin just because I've put a decent amount of time into the game, but I can justify not doing so on the account that I play with a bunch of absolute whales. The only other point worth mentioning is the claims of Chinese hackers ruining the game. I play on EU servers and do not suffer from this problem. Your mileage may vary. With that out of the way, what even is the finals? This game completely avoided my attention until it released early in December of last year, which was still only around 4 months after Embark Studios dropped the finals announcement trailer on social media. It showed little, but the excitement surrounding this new IP was clear. A new online first-person shooter with a big emphasis on destructible environments. Quite a debut for a company with no other games under their belt. In retrospect, it's kind of funny that the way the finals was pitched to me by one of my friends was that it's basically Battlefield Squad Deathmatch on crack.
He just fucked me. He just fucked me.
Because not only is that description quite fitting to what the core gameplay is like in the finals, but he didn't even know at the time that a lot of the founding members of Embark Studios are actually ex-developers from Electronic Arts. If you are a fan of the Battlefield series, as was I in its golden age, then the finals should make you feel right at home in the gameplay department. I mean, the gunplay alone feels like it's been ripped straight out of Battlefield 3, where the recoil is a little more harsh than it is in whatever Call of Duty game we're up to now. But it's not so bad with most guns where you're never going to get a kill on anything over arm's reach. There are also those destructible environments, of course, which are not only better than any of the Battlefield games I've played, but they also manage to avoid the gimmick label by the fact that destroying buildings in the finals can actually have a big impact on the outcome of a round. More on that in just a minute, but if those comparisons between the two games just aren't enough for you, then please allow me, Your Honor, to present my final piece of evidence. The defibs. Case closed! You got him, son. Here's your hamburger. There are, in essence, 2 game modes available in the finals as of the making of this video, and they all involve making as much money as possible, which I'm sure is something we can all get behind. These game modes are Quick Cash and Bank It, with tournaments really just being competitive quick cash with an extra team and deposit point. Let's start with my least favorite, bank it. Think kill confirmed from Call of Duty, except with money. When a player is killed, they drop a little something something for you to scoop up. 500 smackaroons, plus whatever little savings they manage to scrounge up by either killing other players or collecting from one of the vaults dotted around the map. Cash your money out to a Panamanian offshore bank account to secure what you've earned. The winner is the first to reach $40,000, or whoever has the most money saved when the match timer runs out. It's a fun little game mode, but it lacks a lot of the strategy that Quick Cash and Tournament have to offer with defending objectives. It's still fun to jump into though if you just want to try and get some kills, or if you want to give the absolute clusterfuck solo version of Bank It a shot. Where the finals really shines is with Quick Cash and Tournament. Similarly to Bank It, the main goal of Quick Cash is to cash some fat stacks.
And then act like I don't know nobody.
There are two stages to this game mode. First, the teams have to try and get their hands on a vault. Once opened, it will spit out a cube worth a total of $10,000 adjusted for inflation. And that's all well and good, but unfortunately, cubes aren't exactly known for fitting nicely into wallets. The cube has to be transported to one of two deposit points on the map. Once that's done, prepare to sit around and defend as the bank tellers get hard at work with wiring your funds for like the next 2 minutes. Because I hear that they're persuaded very easily to give up your hard-earned plunders to whoever comes and asks nicely enough. Results? Profit. Repeat these two steps until you've racked up $20,000 to be crowned king of the finals. I prefer this game mode over Bank It for the simple reason that it's better designed to encourage direct combat. Because even though you could just avoid the vaults for the most part, waiting to ambush whichever team decides to try and take the plunge, eventually you will have to try and steal a deposit if you plan on winning even a single game. Grabbing vaults and banking money out is nowhere near as intense in that game mode because A, players tend to be much more spread out, and B, depositing money takes a ridiculously short amount of time, making it very easy to just run in uncontested and damn near win the game before anyone even knows you were there. Granted, this is much more of a problem in solo Bank It. The team version of this game mode is worse because it incentivizes these cancer-fuck trios to just camp the deposits, waiting to kill you and take your money for themselves. And since cash outs take like 10 seconds, there's nothing you can do if they get the better of you. The 2-minute timer on deposits in Quick Cash is great because it makes the outcome of a round a lot more unpredictable. If your team gets wiped while defending, chances are you're still going to have enough time to respawn once, or even twice, to try and take the deposit back before it's over. And if that fails, you can always try to prevent the winning team from outright ending the game by targeting them and strategically allowing the losers to get the capture if they are closer. This alone makes Quick Cash feel like the more well thought out game mode of the two, and I'm glad that Tournament was based off of Quick Cash as opposed to Bank It for that reason. And then there are those destruction physics, which again, excel within the realm of Quick Cash and Tournament. Not only can you use these physics to your advantage while defending by blowing up access points such as staircases, or just straight up leveling entire sections of buildings to make them almost inaccessible, but utilizing destruction to your advantage on the attack is equally as important for avoiding traps and other choke points. Vaults and deposits are physics objects, allowing for some absolutely diabolical shenanigans, like blowing the floor up from underneath, letting them fall to you. With all the gadgets available in the game, I'm sure there are other physics-based strategies I'm not aware of that will become the new AIDS meta somewhere down the line. Something about defending in this game unlocks some sort of primal instinct in me that no other game out there has ever been able to tap. Like, I've never been able to get this much footage of me exhibiting such pure, unadulterated fear as I have in the finals.
Such a fucking gruesome landscape. Oh my god! No!
What a terrible jump pad.
Oh!
Instantly melted.
Oh! Oh! No! No! No!
Torsion.
Ah! Oh!
Oh god, let me die.
Oh! Oh!
Come back.
The big contributor to my unhinged reactions may be the fact that I've taken a liking to the squishiest of the 3 classes available in the finals. Which, speaking of, as a further real-life analog, the finals divides its players into 3 different classes: the light, medium, and heavy builds. Insert your preferred nationality memes here. The classes in the finals share some basic equipment and gadgets, especially when it comes to the different types of mines and grenades, as well as all having a shotgun and melee option. But if you've played, like any team-based multiplayer game in the past 10 years, these classes shouldn't really take too long to get used to. Let's start in descending order of girth. The heavy class is your tank build. They exchange movement speed and mobility for excess damage absorbing flesh. The heavy has one of 2 viable states of being. They either go full Reinhardt mode and equip all of the shield and defensive gadgets they have available, or they completely devolve back to monkey, relying solely on brute strength and the power of TNT. The heavy is almost essential when it comes to successfully capturing and defending cash-out points, though it can be a bit of a thankless job, especially due to how useless you can be in medium to long-range firefights. The 2 light machine guns they can equip are probably the hardest weapons to control in terms of recoil, and that range issue doesn't get any better with the shotgun or sledgehammer, let me tell you. Unleash the heavy on a closed-off objective though, and the results will speak for themselves, especially when paired with the next class on the list. The medium build is the support class of the finals. It's probably the best class to get started with when first playing the finals because of their healing abilities, as well as the fact that their weapons tend to be great in most ranges and scenarios. I've stuck with the starter AK simply due to it having more ammo in its magazine compared to the F-car, even though it can allegedly do more damage. The Guardian and APS turrets can sometimes come in handy for defense, but I find that the medium is most effective when equipped with a pair of defibs and the healing beam. They do a really good job at keeping everyone alive when you find yourself in a 1v2 gangbang on a cash out, and can otherwise counter some of the more annoying defensive tactics like the gas mines and grenades people love to place on objectives. You'll often see 2 or more medium builds in a team circle jerk healing each other in the middle of a firefight, which is quite the annoying tactic to deal with if you can't deal enough damage to kill one of them off. Thankfully, the healing beam can only replenish a certain amount of hit points before needing to recharge, but I still think it could use a bit of a nerf the way things are now. Which brings us to the final class of the finals. The one with the most AIDS potential, and the one we've come to dub with a word that would get this video demonetized for whatever reason. I guess YouTube isn't so LGBT friendly. I'm talking, of course, about the light class. I guess if we're sticking to those classic multiplayer terms, then the light build is more of your DPS class in its purest form. They're squishy, agile, and equip the fastest firing, low recoil guns in the game. There are many potential playstyles a light build player could partake in. For example, I'm quite fond of the old disappearing act, running up to unsuspecting victims and tasing them for a quick and easy kill. Pair the invisibility with a melee weapon or the throwing knives, and you're bound to cause more than a few rage quits here and there. Or, instead of fighting up close, you can instead equip the SR-84 sniper rifle. Pair that with the grappling hook for increased mobility, and you'll quickly find yourself getting kills on players at distances they can't do anything about. If you do go this route though, just remember that the goal of the game is still to capture cash outs. Don't be surprised if your teammates start flaming you for letting them die on objectives while you're off camping on the other side of the map.
I fuck your sister, fucking Serbian bitch.
It's a very fun class to play as, but maybe not often as fun to play against. Especially if one of the sweaty enemy teams decides to go in as a triple light build.
Oh no.
So I suppose it would be decent of me to try and answer that fucking stupid question from the beginning of this video. Is the finals based or cringe? The only real gripe I currently have with the finals is that it needs some slight balancing adjustments to counteract some of the more cancerous strats in the game. For instance, I don't like the fact that 99% of the time, defending cash outs devolves into spamming gas mines and grenades. These last way too long in my opinion. If you don't have a heavy to tank the damage, or a medium with a healing beam, you'll find yourself just waiting around for like 20 seconds after wiping both enemy teams before you're able to even take the objective. By which time, they've already had time to respawn and are most likely just seconds away from shooting at you again. Maybe the rule should be that medium builds with full HP should be able to survive long enough in the gas to be able to successfully take an objective, even if it kills them seconds later. I'm also not crazy about the nerf that was introduced some time ago that made it so that light builds could now survive a direct RPG blast. The light class can be a real pain in the ass to deal with because of its slippery nature, especially when equipped with the evasive dash. And the RPG was a good counter against that if you were good enough with leading your shots. I can understand the frustration of getting insta-gibbed by an RPG rocket if you are the only light build player on your team, but right now it often feels like there's absolutely nothing you can do if you run across a full trio of these sweaty fucks. Having said that, I think it would be fine for the casual game modes to stay the way they are now. Quick Cash and Bank It could be the place where you go to have fun with some of these cheesy strats, like going in as a medium trio and spamming turrets on objectives. Tournament is a whole other matter though, and I'd quite like to see a cheese reduction effort for the game's competitive mode. One idea I had was to limit special class abilities to 1 per team. As in, if you had a trio of medium builds, for example, they couldn't all just go for the healing beam and circle jerk each other till completion the very second one of them took 2 hit points of damage. If everyone in a team wanted to go medium, only one of them could have the beam, one person would have to take the turret, and someone else would have to pick recon senses. I think this small change could have a massive positive impact on not only the overall sanity of the player base, but it would also force players to try out different playstyles and potentially discover some cool new synergies between the classes. As things are now though, the gunplay is solid. Player mobility feels great. The games are insanely chaotic, and of course, the game is completely free to play. And with Season 1 coming to an end within the next week, now is probably the best time to see for yourself if the finals is going to be your type of jam. Eat the hell, respect women, and, yeah.
I want you to subscribe to me
Scav Merchant Hub.
on YouTube. Thank you, Cringe. Fuck.